pixie doll, welcome back to my channel. Valentine's Day is coming up on Friday, so today we're discussing 5 witchy self-love rituals that you can do this week to help celebrate the most important relationship in your life, you with you. So we're going to go through a few ways to turn these activities into meaningful rituals for yourself, get onto my 5 ideas I have for you, and then at the end I'm going to include some self-love affirmations that you can save for later. So grab yourself a beverage and let's get into it. So before we get into the activity ideas, I just want to take a minute to discuss the difference between self-love and self-care. They're not the same thing, though they do work together. So self-love is really about appreciating yourself, accepting yourself, and respecting yourself fully, both the positive and negative aspects, regardless of any outside influence or any situation you might be in. That feeling, that love for you remains. So that self-love and that acceptance, it stays with you. It stays with you whether you're going through a hard time or you didn't achieve something you had wanted to achieve for yourself, or you just wake up and you're not feeling your best or having a bad hair day or whatever it might be. It is still with you. It's still inside, and outside factors aren't going to shift it. It's there no matter what. Self-care, on the other hand, self-care is how we nourish ourselves, the steps we take to care for ourselves, to fill our own cup, and to just treat our whole self well, body, soul, and mind, and to just be your best self and feel your best and your most vibrant and your most healthy. So I'm going to go through a few different tools you can use for making these rituals just as meaningful as they can be, and to add a little bit more energy into your environment if you would like. You don't have to use any of these things. They're just options and things to make it more atmospheric and a little bit more special and a little bit more romanticized for yourself. So we can add in candles to any of these activities to help change the energy in our space, to bring the element of fire into the room with us. Choosing colors of pink, red, or white are great choices for Valentine's Day. So these are great colors to choose for love and relationships and passion and warm, vibrant energies. The next thing you can bring into your space when you're doing these things is crystals. Everyone loves crystals. I love working with crystals and choosing ones that are right for the energy I'm trying to invoke during my rituals, or even just during my day-to-day. So you might want to wear some of these on Valentine's Day as well. But some good ones for love energy include rose quartz, of course. We could use clear quartz or moonstone. Rhodonite's a really nice one. Pink tourmaline is really good and also really pretty, if that's a factor in your decision making. And also amethyst is a really nice one for love energy. Then we could also diffuse essential oils into our space or anoint our wrists or neck with them. Essential oils carry properties for so many different things. It's also a staple in my magical toolkit, if you will. I use them and work with them a lot. So some oils you could bring in include rose, of course, and also vanilla is a classic. You could do jasmine or geranium. Ylang is also a really nice scent and lovely for self-love kind of work. And also sandalwood. Sandalwood's a really nice one too. So some good incense for these types of rituals and to infuse that love energy into your environment could be patchouli or frankincense. Cinnamon is really nice, and of course our classic vanilla, which is probably my favorite one, or one of my favorite ones anyway. I have a few. Other things you can do while you're doing these rituals just to make them more meaningful and special to you and your own vibe and your own energy. You could use visualization throughout the rituals. You could play some music that aligns with your version of self-love or makes you feel those warm, cozy emotions of love. You can also write things down during these rituals. That's always a great tool. Writing is very powerful. Or say little spells or intentions throughout the rituals or at the beginning or end of the rituals. Anything that's going to make it more meaningful and make you more connected to the ritual is a great thing to add in. Whether or not I said it here, if you have something else in your life that really makes you think of self-love and that's really special to you, bring that into the space as well. And then of course, when we're doing any of these rituals, we want to make sure we come from a place of love, that we're feeling good and inspired, and that we're just holding that positive, warm, loving energy inside ourselves and not coming at them from a negative space in order to get the most out of them and to feel the most connected to them. So as we go through the rituals, just think for each one, if it's one you think you want to do, what elements you might want to bring in to really up the love energy of the whole experience and make it meaningful to you and make you feel whole and fulfilled when you're finished. Number 1, write a love letter to yourself. So we don't really need to wait for compliments. We don't need someone to send us a love letter when we can very well do one all on our own and really use it as a tool for celebrating ourselves and for positive reflection. So in a letter, you can include everything you admire about yourself. You can include things about yourself you think are beautiful. You can include your accomplishments. You can include how proud you are of yourself for everything you've overcome in life. And just celebrate all the things about yourself that are unique and special to you. You can also include some self-love affirmations at the end to just reaffirm everything you've written to yourself in the letter. So I always like to light a candle when doing something like this and have some fresh flowers in my space. You can choose anything you want from the things I talked about in the beginning, or simply just sit down with a paper and pen and write. And then later, you can always reference back to this letter if you're having a day where you're feeling low or not your best. Reference the letter and reread it and remind yourself how amazing you are. Number 2, create a self-love altar. So if you practice witchcraft already, you might have an altar in your space where you do your ritual work and keep your spiritual tools. Well, this Valentine's Day, we're going to either create a brand new altar for self-love or include items into the altar you already have that have the energy of love and light and warmth. Your home is your sacred space and should really reflect your personality, your tastes, and the love you have for yourself every day. And creating a self-love altar is a great reminder to have in your space of how incredible you are and all the feelings of love that you hold for yourself every day. And if you forget those feelings of love for any reason, this altar can be a great reminder that they're there, they're inside, and just bring them back to the forefront of your mind. So the space can be small for this. You don't have to include 10,000 items. It can have just a few really meaningful items, and you could use just a small part of the shelf or a windowsill, or even just a small corner of your room that you make into this sacred space for yourself. So some things you can add into your self-love altar: you could put a mirror on there to reflect on your own inner and outer beauty. You could include some of the crystals I mentioned in the beginning. You could have fresh flowers or elements from nature that are meaningful to you. You could have some candles, maybe pink or red ones. You could have a photo of yourself that you reflect on. You could have a poem that has special meaning to you, a piece of jewelry that has a special place in your heart, and anything else you have that's yours, that's personal, that holds the feeling of love in it, that represents that to you, and that represents your inner and outer light. Number 3, manifest love through a candle ritual. So I love this one for including the fire element and tying it into your self-love rituals. Fire is love, it's passion, it's energy, it represents all these things. So it's a really powerful tool to include and just ignite that energy inside even more. So to start, you can choose a candle. White, pink, or red is great, as I mentioned in the beginning. And then you can anoint the candle with some of the essential oils I mentioned, or you can carve a symbol like a heart into the candle to represent love. Again, you could place crystals in your space or put on some music to really set the atmosphere. Then you're going to simply sit in a quiet place where you hopefully won't be disturbed and light your candle. And when you're lighting the candle, allow the flame to represent your inner light and your inner magic. So then simply sitting and staring into the flame, almost as if you're in a meditative state, and visualize love and confidence and acceptance and warmth and inner light. And what does that look like for you? You could also use color in your visualization. So visualize yourself in an aura of pink or an aura of pink glitter, and just sit with that feeling, sit with the visualization, and feel the emotions deep in your core. You could also include some writing into this candle ritual if you'd like, writing down some self-love affirmations or intentions for yourself. You could also say things out loud to the universe, a little self-love spell, or again, some affirmations, intentions, whatever feels right for you in the moment. Stay in this kind of meditative state, stay in this visualization for as long as it feels right for you. It could be 5 minutes, it could be 30 minutes. Intuitively, you'll know when it's right to close out the ritual and maybe end it with a single self-love intention, affirmation, or word for yourself. Number 4. Do a self-love tarot or oracle card reading. Using tarot and oracle cards are great ways to connect. They're great ways to connect with your inner wisdom. They're great ways to receive guidance from your higher self, guidance from the universe. This one in particular is going to focus on your self-love journey, where you were and where you need to go in order to strengthen this connection and have more personal growth and self-development. I like to do this in a simple 3-card reading, though you can always use more if you're called to. So card 1 is going to represent your limiting beliefs and things you need to release in order to move forward. Card 2 is going to represent the current energies you hold towards self-love right now. Card number 3 is going to represent the messages you need to hear and steps you need to take in order to move forward on this journey and to grow and really deepen that connection with yourself. So make sure you come at this reading from a place of love and with an open heart. So choose your favorite deck, brew a cup of tea, light a candle, and really relax and take your time with this process. Really reflect on what each card is trying to tell you, and you might have very surprising messages come up, very insightful messages come up that really show you your path and where you need to be heading. Often your spirit and your inner wisdom and your subconscious know things that your conscious mind just isn't aware of yet, and doing a card reading like this is a great way to bring them to the forefront. Number 5, make a self-love or confidence spell jar. So I love doing spell jars. They're probably one of my favorite ritual activities. I love creating something and having something that I can reference and go to when I need a reminder. And also spell jars can look really pretty depending on how you put them together. And they're such a great way to just get creative and use your inner magic, and a wonderful place to put intentions. A lot of people, when they do spell jars, they seal the jar with wax. I don't do that. I like to be able to still open and close the jar, because sometimes I will go back to a spell jar and redo the ritual, and I like to add more things into it. So of course that's a personal preference, and you can absolutely seal the jar if that's what feels right to you. That's just the way that I like to go about it. So things I like to gather for my spell jars include crystals, herbs. I like to put drops of oil in sometimes, not a bunch, but just like 1 or 2 drops. I like to include ribbons or string. And since this is a self-love jar, you could also put things that are in the shape of a heart, or use heart-shaped crystal, or even those little heart-shaped Valentine candies. I think those are really cute to put into self-love jars. I also like to always include a piece of paper with affirmations or intentions written on them, or even just words that coincide with your intention. So for the self-love jar, you could put things like, I love myself unconditionally, I accept myself, I am beautiful and radiant, or you could even just write the word love on the paper and put it into the jar. So these are all just options. Choose things that make you feel self-love. They could be personal items, they could be photos, jewelry, any other little mementos that you have that represent love to you. Include everything and take your time. So add each item one by one. And when I do it, I like to make a little statement with each item, quickly saying what each item represents. So just a 1 sentence. So you put in one element, speak the statement or intention for that element, and then move on to the next one. Once you have everything in the jar, you can either seal it with wax, as I mentioned in the beginning, or what I like to do is I like to seal it up and then just tie a ribbon around it in a color that matches my intention, so maybe a pink or red ribbon here. And I like to set it in a place where I see it regularly, where I can come back to it and redo the ritual if it feels right, and add in more things if that feels right. And of course, as I mentioned in the beginning, you can add more elements into your space to set the atmosphere, bring in more love energy, if you choose to. Crystals, candles, incense, all the good stuff. A few other ideas for things you could do this Valentine's Day week or on Valentine's Day. You could do a heart opening tea ritual. You could do a little moonlight walk for yourself. You could do a heart chakra meditation, or make a crystal grid that has the energy of love. You could wear jewelry that you place special intentions of love on, or some mirror work. Or you could do a gratitude ritual to yourself, thanking yourself for being so amazing. On to our affirmations. Number 1, I love myself unconditionally. Number 2, I am deserving of happiness and joy. Number 3, I am relaxed, calm, and at peace. Number 4, I attract positivity and abundance into my life. Number 5, I deserve to live a life I love. Number 6, I am strong, confident, and thriving. Number 7, I hold love and acceptance in my heart. Number 8, I am balanced and aligned with my intuition. And that brings us to the end of the video. 5 magical self-love rituals that you can include into your week, into your Valentine's Day. If you enjoyed the video and it inspired you, I would really appreciate if you would like and subscribe down below. I will link my blog and socials in the description as always in case you want to follow along on there. And I would love it if you would leave me a comment. Let me know which ritual was your favorite and which one you might do this week. I always love reading your comments. I'd love to hear from you. Sending you many, many blessings and love for the week. Until next time, bye.